West Ham United 3, Tottenham Hotspur 0. Well, when we saw the lineup, we kind of said to ourselves, all right, well, maybe Jared Bowen's either playing up front or Lucas Paqueta might be utilising that false number 9 role, and it was Paqueta, which kept Bowen out on the width. Look, the lineup was, I guess, it was what it was. One change where Fulkrug we knew wasn't available, so Crescencio Somerville came in into the lineup that beat Nottingham Forest 3-0 the week before last. I didn't mind the lineup. I thought it was all right. And the first half, I guess, was not bad. We competed. We did well. We got in their faces. We were challenging. We had a great chance. Paqueta had a great chance where he fluffed it, and it just went wide. But that was probably the best chance that we had of the game. And I guess you've got to take your chances. Otherwise, if you don't, then that's when you get punished. And to be honest, at 0-0 at half time, I was all right with it. I thought we were competing well. I thought we matched them. I didn't really think that they had much more than we were offering, and I was pleased with the first half performance. But as usual, what happens is one of the guys said to me at the end of the game is, unfortunately, with Graham Potter, he's a reactive coach. Graham Potter, he's a reactive manager, whereas the likes of Thomas Frank are proactive. And tactical changes were made. We were already in danger in the first half several times. I've lost count of how many corners they had, but we were already in danger in the first half with their corners. And they made it count. Second half, 2 minutes into the second half, corner came in, they scored from it. So we didn't learn our lessons with the first half corners. And Potter should have been on that. He should have turned around and said to them, this is their danger area, this is what they're going to try and do. They're going to try and get that ball in the box. And we couldn't clear our lines. And within 2 minutes of the start of the second half, we were 1-0 down. But even then, I wasn't that overly worried. I thought, okay, plenty of time to get back in it. But then, of course, on 54, 55 minutes, Thomas Souček lost control of the ball. He reached out for it. Studs up, immediate red card. Look, I haven't seen it. I haven't seen the replay, so I can't tell you if it's an immediate red card or not. But I guess VAR checked it and they corroborated it, so you've got to go with that. And that was it then, game over. The minute you're down to 10 men against a team like Tottenham Hotspur, have got an awful lot of attacking options, so you knew it was finished. And within a minute, their second goal came from a free kick. It was such a soft goal. Our defence didn't clear it. A soft header over Hermansen, and you've got to start asking more questions about Hermansen as a goalkeeper, a Premier League goalkeeper. He doesn't have the reach. He's not going to grow anymore. He's 25 years of age. He's as tall as he's going to be. He doesn't have the reach, and it went over. It was a looped header. All right, we didn't clear our lines. They got the second goal, and that was it. Finished. That was done and dusted. But at 2-0, then we started to make some changes, and we thought, all right, we'll bring a striker on. And this is what puzzles me now with Graham Potter, is his substitutions were Moyes-esque, odd. He brought Magassa on to make his debut. That's absolutely fine. And I thought, all right, he's bringing Magassa on, which means he'll bring James Ward-Prowse off. He didn't. He put Magassa on alongside James Ward-Prowse and put one of the players that had a lot of energy in the middle of the park, Fernandes, put him on the pitch, took him off the pitch. And then he brought Somerville off and he put Guilherme on. All right, you can almost say like for like with that. But at that point, at 2-0 down, you'd think, well, you've got nothing to lose. Then put a striker on and just start, going route one and going straight up there, route one, getting the ball to a striker. He didn't do it. He brought Wilson on much later in the game after we went 3-0 down, and it's not enough. It's not enough. I'm not suggesting we were going to get back in it at 2-0 and with a player down, we were never going to get back in it. But at least give us some hope, some fight. And we, after that, 2-0 down, a man down, it was game over. The tactical changes didn't seem to, I didn't understand it. You know what's going to happen now? losing 3-0 at home to Tottenham Hotspur, he's going to absolutely go with a back five next weekend. You know it's going to happen. He's going to go with back five. James Ward-Prowse, look, I don't want to single out a player, but what does it take? He took James Ward-Prowse off in the 92nd minute or something like that. What's it going to take for Graham Potter to realise that James Ward-Prowse is not the answer to West Ham United's central midfield? I don't get it. I get why he picks Ward-Prowse, because Ward-Prowse is very good at keeping the ball. He can pass the ball sideways, backwards. You know, he keeps possession. But when you're trying to look to go forward, he ain't the player that you need. He's not the player that you need. I mean, we're going to lose Souček now next week because of a straight red card, so he's going to miss that game. So Souček won't be up for selection against Crystal Palace. But it means even more, he'll double down Graham Potter, and Ward-Prowse will get his starting role again next weekend. I'm disappointed. I'm not overly disappointed with the first half performance. I think it was good. I'm not overly disappointed with the lineup. I thought it was all right. People are saying, why are you not playing a striker when you're playing at home? And I get that, and I totally agree with it. But the second half, once you've conceded that first goal, change it then. Don't wait. Don't wait. Change it then, and put a striker on then. But we waited and we waited, went a man down, went a second goal down, and we paid the price for it because they were toying with us. Do I want to mention Mohamed Kudus? Yeah, he took the piss in the end, didn't he? With his little flicks, etc. at the end of the game. But Diouf did well against him. Mohamed Kudus didn't really get a sniff. But unfortunately, you know, like I said, Thomas Frank is a forward-thinking manager, you know, and he's got all, and if one area of attack is not working, another area is going to step in, and that's exactly what they did. They used their resources accordingly in order to get at us. I'm disappointed. Of course I'm disappointed, because that first half was all for nothing. That first half performance was all for nothing. And if a game was only 45 minutes long, you'd go, fine, we deserved that, 0-0. But to go a goal down very early in the second half, change it then, get your forwards on. You know, get your strikers on, go forward thinking. I did not understand bringing Paqueta off. I didn't understand bringing Fernandes off. I didn't understand bringing Somerville off and keeping James Ward-Prowse on. What was going to happen? Containment. You don't need containment at 2-0 down. You need to be going for it, and you need all your attacking players on the pitch in order to go for it. And that bit really, really disappointed me. Really disappointed me. Maybe, we don't know. Fulkrug clearly didn't play. He wasn't clearly he wasn't going to play because he's not fit. And maybe Callum Wilson just can't do 90 minutes. But then start Callum Wilson. You know, start him in the game, and then when he tires after 45, 50 minutes, bring him off then. Disappointing against Tottenham Hotspur. You know, disappointing against Mohamed Kudus. He's had the last laugh. Disappointing because as well as we did in the first half, we just let it all go to nothing in the second half. That's the biggest disappointment of all. The fact that we actually, you know, we collapsed, we caved in after 1-0. And, you know, we were beginning to be desperate. The lunge that Souček made to try and win the ball back was a desperate lunge. You know, it was a team that was trying to play catch-up. And what a shame, the fact that we're playing catch-up after playing so well in the first half. But there you go. It is what it is. I was asked by John, who's all the way from Hastings, who stood next to me today, and say hello to Luke as well, his son, who was up in the stands. I was asked by John, how long do you think Potter's gone? And I said, look, you know, this West Ham board will not make a change until round about Christmas, and only if they need to. Potter, you know, there may be a lot of, you know, Nuno. We were talking about, you know, possible managers, and he said, you know, Mourinho. I went, no, there's no way they'll bring Mourinho in. But I said, maybe Nuno, maybe not. And then I said, maybe the more likely option, if they're going to get rid of Potter, is going to be Steve Cooper. More of the same. An uninspiring manager that they'll probably bring in. Nuno might be a bit too adventurous for them, even though Nuno plays the same way as David Moyes played, you know, counter-attacking football, you know, hit them with pace, etc. But with this squad that we've got, someone like Nuno can do well, but it's very early days because I think Potter will be here. Well, let's see what happens by the next international window, which will be in the middle of October. If we lose against Crystal Palace, we've got another game before the international break. We lose against Crystal Palace and we lose against Everton and we lose against Arsenal, he may be gone by the next international break. But otherwise, hello mate. But otherwise, he'll be here until Christmas. And if we're doing really badly by Christmas, then he'll be gone then. And then who are they going to bring in? It ain't going to be Nuno. It'll be someone like Steve Cooper. But anyway, back to the game. Really disappointing. Really, really good first half. It was really got the crowd buzzing. Really got the crowd, up for it. We were competing. We were challenging. We were in their faces. We had chances. And the only chances they seem to have is through set pieces, through corners, etc. But in the second half, we didn't learn our lesson. We should have known. Potter should have said to them, focus, concentrate. Or maybe he did, and maybe we just didn't do the job. But we should have focused and we should have concentrated on their corners. They were eventually going to get a goal in the corner, and they did. Of course, they did. In this right at the beginning of the second half, they got a goal from the corner, and then the sending off. Well, there you go. West Ham United 0, Tottenham Hotspur 3. Next week's game is against Crystal Palace. No Thomas Souček, so he can't be picked. Let's see who's going to pick. Magassa, didn't see enough of him to suggest what he's going to be like, but I would dare say Magassa will be the shoe-in for Thomas Souček being suspended. But he's going to start alongside James Ward-Prowse. I don't know what to say. Like I said, I don't want to put it on one player, but James Ward-Prowse is not the answer to our desire to go forward. There you go. Speak to you all. I'll see you all again very soon.